Hi, morning. Welcome to another episode of the Out of Office Club. Um, I might look or sound a bit tired because I am. It is Sunday morning, but I've got a whole day out. I'm gonna go see some family, so I'm filming this early in the morning. I don't know about you, but I am personally not really a morning person. I'm much more an evening person. That's when I feel most creative and most motivated. But, you know, of course, I'm filming every weekend and I couldn't yesterday. And I wanted to wait till today as well because yesterday I hosted my first ever live event. It was just a small group of people that joined me during this live, where I gave a short presentation, talked a bit more about my path, what I learned, mistakes I made. And after that, they asked me a lot of questions, which was so insightful. Plus, it was also just really, really fun. I had such a good time. It was easy, it was fun. People asked me questions, they had nice comments, so it was really good. So I definitely will be doing that more often, because it's also good for me to get feedback because there are certain things that I never really thought about or thought were normal almost, like that's just how it goes, when then actually it isn't, and other people might worry about something that I never worried about, and the other way around. So I thought that was really good and really insightful. So that's why I wanted to wait. But yeah, first quick update. I am still in the Netherlands, but I'm leaving next week. I'm going to go to Spain and then Greece, and I probably will then do another World Packers work exchange, which I'm really excited for. If it's all, of course, approved and it happens, but it won't be till about October, November. But then I might be going to France. So I'm going to stay in Europe, which was the goal anyway, but then help out somewhere in France for a little bit, which I'm excited for. So yeah, starting next week, I will officially be traveling again. I know it might seem a bit strange because I started this whole podcast and also most of my social media exactly when I came back home or back to the Netherlands for a couple months. But usually I am traveling, of course, full time or a bit more. But that all starts again next week, which I'm so excited for. I've already got my suitcase here. I still have to pack, of course. I'll probably leave that till Wednesday morning, knowing myself. But yeah, anyway, I today, because I had that live yesterday, wanted to talk about something that came up during the live from multiple people, which I thought was interesting. And it is something that I also tackle in my course. So it is in there, and I do tell people how to deal with it. But of course, my course is really just action focused. I give absolutely no story, background info, nothing of the sorts. Plus, it is also aimed to be very quick. So you can go through that whole course probably in an hour or two. But today I want to talk about one specific thing a bit more in depth, and give my own personal story and insights on this a bit more. Because more than one person yesterday said, oh, but I don't know what to do. There is so much that I could do that I find interesting, that I have skills in, but I don't know exactly what to offer and what to work in, either the market or the specific skill or just in general. I don't know what to do. I want to work online, but I don't know what I could offer. And I think that that is, of course, a really good question. I have myself struggled with that sometimes too, picking something, thinking this is it, and then it not being that great. And it is difficult because it is your work. And of course, you do want to enjoy your work. So I want to today go over that and ask that question or answer that question in a bit more detail. I tried my best yesterday, but of course, we only had limited time. And I was thinking about it a lot more yesterday evening after the call. So that's what I want to talk about today. Because yeah, it's a very important question. It's not as simple as, oh, okay, which visas do I need? Where do I stay? It's one of the hardest questions. What am I going to do? What am I going to offer? What is the work, my online work, going to be? And that question came up for me as well, especially this year. Um, I've been working online for myself as a freelancer for 5 years. Basically, for those 5 years, it had ups and downs, but generally the line was up. I was doing quite well. Every couple months, it went better. Had some dips, but always came back up. I was doing well until beginning of this year, February. I lost 80% of my clients in the span of 2 weeks. Sorry. One of the main problems there was that I had not managed my main client well. I made some mistakes there. I overpromised. It was very difficult for me to keep up. The communication with that client was tough. They expected basically too much. I overpromised. That combination just didn't work. So of course, in the end, I was fired. I don't want to pretend I'm doing everything right all the time because I 100% don't. But yeah, that was rough. And anyway, the year before that, because I was working in digital marketing and I liked it and it worked, but it wasn't great. I didn't enjoy it that much. And the more or the longer I was doing it, the more I thought maybe this is not right for me. And of course, then when I did lose basically all my clients in 2 weeks this year, I thought this absolutely sucks and I hate it. And it was very, very stressful. And I did feel like I had failed and I was quite ashamed. But then I also realized this does give me an option to start again. I can now think again about what I'm offering, how I want to do it, what kind of work I actually really like. And that's how I then shifted to design, which has been tough because it means basically starting again. I had a network, but they all wanted marketing. And now suddenly I'm offering something different. So most of my network then is gone. I still have some of it because many clients I did design work for. So they sometimes come back for more design work. But still, it was a bit like starting over. I mean, I did have to change everything that I also explain in my course a lot, like build your portfolio. And I have a website, of course. So that I had to change. And it was a lot of work. It took me a long time to restructure everything because then what am I offering? How much does it cost? What am I going to do? But I am glad that I did it because I do like it so much more. But yeah, that was definitely a couple months where I was like, what am I going to do? What do I even like? Plus, I think why it feels really hard is because it does seem online that everyone else has got it figured out. And I do the same. I look at other people and I'm like, oh, but you do exactly what you love and everything is great and you're so successful. And I can almost promise you that everyone has these doubts sometimes about what they're doing and offering, that it's not always great. And I think it's normal. As a person, of course, you also change throughout your work and the older you get. And you'll get different interests and hobbies and might want to structure things differently. You learn more as well. Um, so I know that that is tough. Even when I was younger, I always knew I'm going to go to art school. I'm going to be an artist. Until I was actually there, and after 2 years, realizing I hate it here. I am so unhappy going to art school. Why am I even here? And then it was very tough to then find something I did like. But in the end, I chose something that had at least most of my interests, and that was business management and marketing, because that had still some creative parts. It had language. I liked the marketing side. It was an international study. And I was like, that is good. And because I did that, I did realize and figure out what exactly it is that I like. So yeah, I think the whole pick your one kind of passion and stick to it, and there's one thing that fits is just not true. I think there's multiple things that can fit you. You just have to then go and make it work. So yeah, definitely not everyone's got it figured out. I do right now love what I do, but maybe in 5 years I won't and I'll change again. Which I think is also the nice part about working for yourself, because you can. It's a risk, but you can. So yeah, I don't think there's just one thing. You do change throughout your work and your life. I did I started in social media marketing because that was easier to get into. I already had some experience in it. That then evolved to digital marketing, which is a lot more broad, a bit more difficult to get into. But because I'd started smaller, I can kind of grow into that. I also, for a little bit, tried to set my company up as a agency, which means that I hired other people and they helped me with client work, which I also then realized I actually didn't enjoy. That was the goal I had for years. And then when I finally had it, or at least some of it, it was in no means perfect, but I was trying to build it. I realized, oh, this is actually not something I really enjoy that much. But there, learned from that. Um, and after that, like I said, changed it again to brand design. And what I learned from that too is that sometimes you just have to do it to find out what it is that you like. I went to art school, which I worked my ass off to get into, because I don't know about in other countries, but art schools are quite tough to get into, at least in the Netherlands. I got into art school and I was so happy. I really thought this is it. This is gonna be amazing. I studied illustration. I did a half year also in graphic design, and I just thought this is gonna be so cool. Only to realize, I think a year and a half in, that I absolutely hated it. That I went to school feeling so much dread, and there was no more motivation. All my creativity was gone. Before that, loved it. I loved to draw and paint, and while studying and also after, I didn't for years. But it did help me figure out what I did want, because I had to pick a study when I was 16 or 15 even. I had no clue what I was going to do. And now I got a kind of a do-over at 19. And I got to choose again what I wanted to do when I knew so much more about myself. And I'd already tried something. And the same goes for work. I started in social media management only to realize it's good, but not great. I went into digital marketing thinking this is much broader. I can put much more of my creativity and strategy and whatever in this. And then changing it again. And that has worked for me with so many things, to just do it and try and then figure out, because I think regardless of what you do, you'll learn from it. Even if you after a year think I hate this, you learned probably how to set up a portfolio, how to pitch yourself, how to do some of the work, how to do client communications, how to sell yourself as a freelancer. You learn different skills, you tried out different platforms. There's so much you learn, even if you realize afterwards, this is not it. I didn't like art school, but I did learn how to present really well, because almost daily you would come to school and they'd be like, oh yeah, go stand over there and give us a presentation about your work and tell us why it's great. I was so shy and I sucked at presenting, but because of that, because I did that for a year and a half, almost two, nonstop, I got very good at just standing there and talking, which I already noticed is helping me in my work now, because that's something that kind of a fear that I got over. So regardless of what you do and pick, it will help you in some way. You will learn more than if you would not take any action and wait to find that one amazing thing. Because I think very often that isn't something that you find immediately. It's something that you get to. It's like a path to find that. I could not have started in design 5 years ago. Why? Because I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't think that I had enough skill. I didn't have a portfolio, and it is a more difficult market to get into. Design is a bit harder to sell, anything creative is, than straight up marketing, because companies know marketing equals sales directly, and a nice website doesn't immediately translate to money. At least you have to kind of convince them for it or about that. So I could not have done that 5 years ago, because I just didn't think that that's something I could do. I think I maybe somehow wanted to, but never really allowed myself. So if I hadn't done the past 5 years, I would not have been where I am now. I mean, the same goes for even social media. I've tried that 3 times before and failed and lost interest and gave up and felt too kind of confused and conflicted and embarrassed as well to show up online. Um, but now I'm not anymore. And I think it's because I failed all those times before that it was a bit easier to just start again and try again, because what did I have to lose? So, yeah, I think action will get you to where you want to be. And waiting to find that one perfect thing is not going to help you. I have not once in my life just found something and then immediately liked it or was good at it. It just doesn't happen. So that is what I 100% recommend. Pick something and go for it. So I know now the question is, okay, but then what do I pick if I've got so many things that I like to do and so many interests? Of course, you also want to pick something that works. You don't want to just try and then realize no one wants this service. So there's a couple of things that I recommend that I also said yesterday. Is first, kind of think about, what do people already come to you for help? What brings you happiness? Like, what is your passion next to that? For me, that always was creativity. So I think I always knew I was going to go more into the creative side. But maybe for you, that might be helping other people, or languages, or maybe even also marketing. Think about what excites you, what makes you happy, what people maybe already come to you for like advice, because that gives you a good idea of what other people think you are good at and what your skill is. And of course, then look also into, okay, what would I be willing to learn? You probably won't find something that you're already 100% skilled at. I mean, I've now doing design, there's still things I can learn in design, you know? So don't let that stop you either. Don't think that you already have to know everything about the skill that you're picking, because it is also good to start smaller, even within that market or niche, and then grow and learn as you go. Again, I have learned so much from just telling people that I could do something when in reality I couldn't yet. Even last week, a client said, "Oh, I would really like my website to be built in this particular program. Do you know it? Have you worked in it?" I Googled it, I checked it, I watched a video on it. It works in essence the exact same as all of the other programs I use. So I said yes. It's something that I can probably learn in about 10 minutes. The client doesn't know how to use it. I already, with my background, know a lot more about it. So, but that means that now I'm going to have to go and learn a new tool, which is only, I think, fun and exciting. So don't let that stop you either. You will figure all those things out. There's so much info online, free tutorials. In the end, those programs want you to use their program, so they'll give you some free tutorials. Yeah, so look into what it is that you like, what you maybe already have some skill in or that people come to you for. And then it is about finding something that would also work online. And that is, of course, the least fun part. And something that I also got as a note a couple times yesterday was, oh, but isn't that already oversaturated, like that job or that market? And I would say it is very, very easy to feel like that. I just personally don't really believe in it, which I know might sound strange, but of course, if you're going to look for it, there are going to be hundreds and thousands of millions other designers. But no one is going to do it the same way I do. The same goes for any other work. You will bring something special because of your own unique way of working. Plus, people also have to find you and know you. And just because there are people out there doesn't mean that they will work with them, that they want to work with them, that they're right, that they can find them. A lot of people in my network, they work with me because they know me or from my client base. So yes, there are other designers out there, but they found me first. They liked me more. My portfolio was better. My prices were better. Whatever it was, they in the end chose me, even though they have thousands of others to choose from. So I'm not sure if I really believe that it's necessarily oversaturated. I mean, think about Yesterday there was someone who said maybe I can go into translation. Great. Well, do you know anyone that can translate from, I don't know, Croatian to English, or Italian to English, or from Norwegian to whatever? Probably not. So then how oversaturated could it really be if you personally don't even know anyone who does that? That's, I don't know. Maybe that's a bad example, but I just don't think any job is necessarily oversaturated, but it could be more difficult to get into because you have more competition, because there are more alternatives, or because it's going to be very hard to compete with people already out there in terms of money or skill. And what I mean with that is, for example, if it's hard to compete in skills or money, it's because there's lots of people that already have a very, very high level of a certain skill that it also requires a lot of skill. Digital marketing is really broad, so can be a bit tougher to get into because there's so many different skills that you need. And other people probably already have a lot more in that. And then it is better to start smaller, like I did, social media marketing. It's just an aspect of digital marketing, but you don't immediately have to know 10 different other things. For digital marketing, you need to know social media marketing, advertising, SEO, some basics of design, email marketing. There's a lot. While social media marketing is just an aspect of it. So it's a bit easier to compete for that one skill than it is to compete in 10 different things. Then, of course, alternatives. I think that's a big one, especially when yesterday someone, again, talked about translation work. And while that is interesting, there's so many alternatives out there at the moment. Even just simple Google Translate, but AI is getting better and better. And sure, it's never perfect, and a lot of companies will probably want a person to look it over in the end. There is probably, I mean, don't quote me on any of this because it's not something I've done research in, because it's not a market I work in, but there probably will be less work because more and more companies will use an alternative like AI to do that work. And that goes for a lot of things, even just design, website design, logos, but that is still a bit more difficult to do with AI. Plus, people still don't know what is good, and the same thing goes for translations. Great that it's translated, but if you can't check if it actually is a good translation, they'll still need someone. So I'm not saying this to say it's impossible, but again, it will require maybe a bit more work, a bit more patience, and you might have to convince people a bit more about the importance of your work in hiring you. That is just, I think, something that will probably be relevant in most markets in the next couple of years, just because AI is growing so fast and can do so many things. But yeah, those are also, of course, things to look for. Go online and check, okay, what are other people offering? What exactly are they doing? What are their skills? Do I have any or most of these? Could I compete in them? Could I learn them? It's, of course, a big one. You don't have to know everything at the start, but could I learn them? Do I want to learn them? And is it something that I would enjoy? Is it something that is still relatively decently paid? Because I know there are some jobs that are generally lesser paid than others, of course. But look into that as well. What is happening in that market is very quick or easy to say, I'm just going to go and do this and work in translation. But what exactly are you then going to translate, for example? And the same goes for social media marketing. That's great. But are you going to a specific market, work with specific companies, work in a specific way? And those are things that you might not know right now, but that you can figure out by doing your research, going online, checking what other social media managers, translators, designers are doing and offering. What are they charging? just to give you a ballpark of what the average roughly is. And of course, look to people, preferably from your country or region, for those budgets, because if you would look at Asia, they'll charge a lot less because they can. While if I look in the Netherlands, the hourly rates will be much higher because the standards of living here are different and you need a different budget. So look into your region, also get an idea of what it is that you could charge roughly as a beginner, as an expert, and if that works for you. And based on all of that info, choose, which I know is tough, but honestly, if you really don't know, pick the one you think would either work the best, so you see also online most success with, or that sucks the least. Pick the one that you think you also enjoy most. That will be easiest, that will be most fun. Pick that and then start. Again, just don't wait to have it all absolutely perfect, because you never will. I'm a designer and I still think my website sucks. I still see mistakes that I want to fix, but I didn't have time for it. And if I was going to wait for that moment, I was going to work on that website for years, because by the time it would be finished, like perfect, my style would have changed. I would have seen something else that I thought was fun and I would have redesigned it all. So go with what you have now and what you can do now, and then start and learn along the way. I think that is the absolute best way to start working for yourself. Don't wait till it's perfect. Don't wait till you know everything, can do everything, know the right people, have all the skills. Instead, start and make sure you have that and grow in that as you're working. That's what I did too. And has that always been easy? No. But it's always worked out, because don't forget, clients come to you because they don't know either. So if you have the motivation, the time, can put in the effort to learn a certain skill program that they don't have, you're already more valuable in your work. And you can already offer them something that they can't do themselves, which people pay for. They love to save time and effort, and that's what you're taking away from them, or giving them back, basically. So, yeah, I hope that helped, those tips. If you still don't know, also talk with your friends and family. They'll probably pick up on stuff that they think you're good at that maybe you yourself didn't know. For me, I literally went to a person who coaches people who graduated from high school into picking a study that works for them. I spoke with this lady for a couple sessions to figure out what to study, because after my art school, I was so lost. And it was her that picked up on certain things that I said and that saw the pattern in them, and how by the age of 16, I'd already kind of vaguely set up multiple small businesses, and I've always been entrepreneurial and interested in that, but I'd never picked up on that because I just thought it was a stupid side project and hobby I did. And she was like, yeah, but you did that when you were 8, and again 12 and 14, and you did it last year, and all of them failed and they were really small, but it's the same pattern. So that really helped me. So check out something like that, talk to friends and family, pick a passion, do your research, and then take action. I think that is the main thing. Take action. That's, I think, in my course also the main thing I say, and there I go over much more how to then set up a good portfolio, what to do, where to then find clients. So if you're interested, I recommend checking that out. But that was it for today. I think it's a really interesting topic, and I've shifted so many times in what I'm doing and what I like and what I don't like. So I really hope this helped. Let me know what you thought of the episode. You can always message me also on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Thank you again so much for listening, watching. If you can, please leave a review, subscribe, like. I don't know what else you can do, but that really helps. Follow me on social media, because that's where I post a lot more travel insights, tips, more daily updates, and everything. So thank you, and I really hope to see you again next week. Bye bye.